feel stressed, angry, anxiety, worry, and doubt, all of these feelings are coming from negative thought patterns. And sometimes we've experienced those negative thought patterns over and over again, and it's hard to break the cycle between the negative thought patterns over to a more positive thought pattern. The lens in which we look at life will determine what we experience. This brings it back to our perception. Is our perception accurate about the world being a scary place? Or do we need to revamp our perception towards the world? Negative thought patterns are sometimes inherited. Negative thought patterns sometimes come from other people's problems. They're not even our problems, and we take it on. They're not even our problems. This is the scary thing at times. We hear about other people's experiences, and all of a sudden, we take that upon ourselves and we say, oh, this can happen to me too. It doesn't have to happen to you. But if you get emotionally invested in somebody else's problems, you will create those problems in your own life. In your own life, you will create those experiences. Bringing it back, the marriage of thought with feeling creates emotions. Emotions lead to experiences. So when someone tells you something negative, it's safe to lend support to them. They may be having some challenges in their mind, but it's important to identify that that is their mind that created the scenario that they're encountering at this moment. And the best thing you can do for them is to encourage them to think more positively about life. Is to encourage them to break some of those thought patterns. Do not engage in their emotional frequency if someone comes to you and they share their negative thought patterns. Because what happens at that moment is that you will then turn around and create those negative thoughts, feelings, emotions, and experiences for yourself. It's very scary when you put it into perspective. It doesn't take very long for these things to happen. The moment you get emotionally invested in something or somebody else's scenario, all of a sudden you may notice that scenario playing out in your life. Save yourself a lot of pain and suffering and break the cycle. If someone does come and tell you, lend them support, lend them encouragement, be positive that they can overcome this situation. But also take a moment to identify this situation is their situation, and you should not emotionally get invested in their situation. Lend support in any way you possibly can, but refrain from getting emotionally invested. I hope you find this video helpful. I really thought it was important to give you guys a little bit about scenarios that can come up in our everyday life. A lot of times we take on these scenarios in which somebody else is experiencing something and we then put ourselves in their shoes. Don't do it. Don't do it. Draw a line at putting yourself in their situation. You are not them and they're not you. You have never, the fingerprints are completely different and the mental imprints are completely different. Their experiences in their life, their mind traps, their memories are what led to the outcome of their situation. And if you can identify that about them, you can then lend support effectively to them. It's about being able to identify. Do not sympathize and do not get emotionally invested. Even if it's a loved one that you care dearly about, do not get emotionally invested. The best thing you can do is help them to think that their way into a happier life, or to think their way into a more harmonious life, or for them to think their way towards a better end result. The process of thinking is one of the most important things we can do in our lives. We take this process for granted, but our thoughts are the most valuable things that we can do. And thoughts in combination with feelings that we're feeling through our body, creating emotion, And the action, like let's say the action of speaking those words into existence, that's some powerful stuff as well. Your words matter. Your words absolutely matter. So be cautious and guard your words carefully. Your words are the action that you're taking in response to a thought and a feeling and an emotion. So choose your words wisely. You can't take them back after they've been released. And a lot of times it's just a matter of us not being conscious of the thoughts that led to the words. And so many times we say things and we're like, oh, I didn't really mean to say that. Don't say it. Don't think it. And if you think it, isolate yourself and correct the thought process. You can do that. You can correct the thought process once you isolate yourself. You can think about something differently. You can think about something differently all the time. You have total control over your thoughts. Your thoughts don't just happen to you. You are in control of your thoughts. Think of a red car. Okay, think of a blue car now. Did your thought just change from one? Yeah, you got control over it. I promise you. I hope you found this video useful. Please apply this stuff into your life. Peace and blessings, my friends. Hi friends, I have some really exciting news. I have just released the Mental Duality Guide to Life-Changing Results. And this simple guide has transformed so many people's lives because what it helps to do is it helps to open up your awareness to the areas that you may be feeling unsupported, insecure, fearful, trauma that you may have had from the past that you just need to shed some light on and bring your awareness to. And the guide bridges the gap from a negative space over to a more neutral or a high vibrational frequency. So when we see that it's unsupported that we're feeling, we know dualistically that it is support. We need to feel supported in this life. Or if we're feeling insecure, we know that it's security we need to work on feeling, or maybe confidence that we need to work on feeling. And this guide allows you to open up how you actually feel. It allows you to kind of sift through some of the negative thoughts, feelings, and emotions that you might be experiencing and have a way, a bridge to move them from a negative space into a positive space. I've had so many clients just see amazing results. And me, myself, I have gone to this guide in order to identify thought patterns that I was experiencing and analyze those thought patterns if they were positive or negative. Sometimes we get a thought just like seeps into our mind and we can't really put it into a category. But when we sit with a program like this, we understand what our underlying feelings might be, and bridging the gap from the negative over to something that's going to be more neutral or more positive is the secret to our personal growth and development. And this guide is going to guide you through that. Hopefully one day you join us for the Intuitive Ascending Mind program, but this guide is free for you to work on. It's personal to you. And what it'll do is that it'll open up your awareness. And once you go through that transition of opening up your awareness, you understand the areas that you need to work on. And it also will give you some wonderful affirmations to help build you foundationally from the ground up into a more positive, more happier, more healthier version of yourself, and more wealthier, of course. Peace and blessings, my friends.